Hello, I'm Dr. April Moreno. I want to invite you to, or welcome you to this COVID prevention conversation. It is our webinar on COVID prevention for the immunocompromised. I'm going to go ahead and set that up. Thank you for joining us today. And we're here on the slideshow now. Hopefully you can see it. Screen sharing. So this webinar is on COVID prevention for the immunocompromised. I'm Dr. April Moreno, the founder and CEO of the Autoimmune Community Institute. And today is November 6th, 2020. And we wanted to provide this information as the numbers are continuing to increase with the pandemic, and how to provide information to protect our autoimmune and immunocompromised community. All right, so here we go. Here's our official slide. Beginning now, COVID prevention for the immunocompromised by the Autoimmune Community Institute, November 6, 2020. As I mentioned, I'm Dr. April Moreno from the Autoimmune Community Institute, founder and CEO. And welcome to our conversation today. So the Autoimmune Community Institute is an organization that started this year during the pandemic, and we're dedicated to autoimmune health equity in various communities, basically all communities. And our vision is to ensure that everyone has ideal quality of life with their autoimmune condition as something that they're navigating. Our website is isACI.org. And why are we currently focused right now on COVID prevention at the moment? You may be wondering. Because in the autoimmune community, we tend to have higher risk for more severe illness with the pandemic, with the virus. Many of us are on disease-modifying medication, causing us to be more susceptible to infection, as we are on medications that tend to destroy B cells and T cells. And then thirdly, because we've seen the data out there and people of color are disproportionately affected by the pandemic. So this presentation provides information that's helpful for anybody, really. It does provide more information on how to be particularly careful during the pandemic for the immunocompromised, but this information is relevant for anybody. So what are those important factors to consider when you are thinking about COVID safety and prevention? Some of the factors are whether you're indoors or outdoors when you're around people, because it can drastically change the rate of infection or the likelihood of infection. So when you're outdoors, you have more ventilation, more airflow versus someone someone that's indoors. So as we've seen, some of the hair salons and things like that are starting to do some of their haircuts outdoors. The nail salon even was doing some of that outdoors for a while, but they stopped. Restaurants were starting to go out and provide services outdoors as well. Other factors to consider, however, are how many people are around you. So, there are certain recommendations out there in terms of like 10 people or less for gatherings. The numbers have changed, come and gone, increased and decreased over time. But sometimes it's better to be proactive because the numbers and the responses are things that we're looking at 2 weeks after people already were infected. So just continue to be proactive in advance of the numbers, because those numbers are, again, things that we're seeing after the fact. Maintaining that distance from others around you at minimum of 6 feet can help a lot. And another important factor is masks. Are you wearing a mask? Are they wearing a mask? And then Other things you can do are to make sure that with the mask, your nose is covered, your mouth is covered, and even your eyes. If you have glasses or goggles or the face shield, that can help a lot from particles getting into the eye from, ahead of you, on top of you. And then also continuing to use the sanitizers and wash your hands frequently. I'm really grateful that the hand sanitizers are more accessible now than they were for a little while. So we are getting better at certain things, which is really great. So when we think about how we can protect ourselves, being aware of the different types of masks that are available. So we have the ones that clinicians and the emergency room doctors really want to use because they're around people who are sick and infected with COVID. That's the N95. And so that's the one that they're using as their key level of protection. There's also the KN95 now, which is more accessible for everybody out there. You can order those online now, which is great. They have like an elastic ear hooks that you can attach. And so those are good too. And the newer technologies with the HEPA filtration, with the masks that are made by vacuum cleaner companies are great. Other companies now are using newer technologies with nano filtration masks. So these masks are able to protect you at 2.5 microns, micrometers, basically of particulate matter. You can wear these in theory to protect yourself from air pollution as well. So those are considered by some as even possibly more protective than a KN95. So that's just what some of the claims are. But yeah, they are more efficient and more effective than a bandana or a regular cloth or t-shirt fabric, anything like that, or even the clinical mask that people have access to in the urgent care, the ones in the cardboard box. Those protect people from you. So the general piece of cloth and the cloth masks that are readily accessible at the clinics and disposable, those tend to protect other people. And that's what they're designed to do, protect people who have who come in with the flu and so on from infecting other patients. So in order to, being as immunocompromised, we're more concerned about how we can protect ourselves as well as other people. And the best way you can protect yourself, regardless of whether people are wearing a mask or not around you, is to have the KN95, N95, or the nano filtration cloth masks. We do have a guide with more information on our website. It's the COVID Protection Guide. You'll find that link at acicommunity.org. The other option is to email us at info@acicommunity.org for a copy of this guide, and I'll send that over to you. And I forgot the ORG here, but info@acicommunity.org is our email address. And then finally, we are dedicated to autoimmune health equity. We want to ensure our vision continues to be achieved, which is autoimmune quality of life for everybody. And we are on Instagram, Twitter, and our website is at acicommunity.org. And you can find us again with our email address at info@acicommunity.org. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me by email. And we look forward to staying in touch with you and communicating with you again in the near future.